What is up, Comic Fam? Welcome to the Legion of Comics. Today is Sunday. That means this is at week's end. The spoiler-filled look back at this week in comics and so much more. But today it's a semi-special episode. Typically, when a new movie drops, we dedicate the entire show to a large panel, and we just go through the movie with a fine-tooth comb and give our perspectives on it. We're going to do a version of that this evening. It's a little bit differently, but before we get into any of that, check this out. Let's go ahead and thank some of the people that help make this possible. We got Big Time Collectibles. If you haven't checked them out already, be sure to follow them on any of the social medias. They're always doing amazing comic exclusives, mystery boxes, all kind of great stuff. You can find them at bigtimecollectibles.com. And if you need anything cleaner press, hit up my man Justin over on Instagram. He can take care of you. And if you use that promo code WeAreLegion, you can even get a discount or a special offer that he's got running. And he has changed his Instagram name to Comics with an X, but it doesn't matter because the link directly to his page is in the description of all my videos. So just hit that, hop on over there, give him a follow, check all that good stuff out. And yeah, so we're bringing in the guests for this evening. New guy will be joining us here in just a little bit. Comic Vet might be here, not 100% on that at the moment, but we've got the next best thing. We have Comic Vet Light, aka DJ Links. What is up?
Hello, Karmic Army. I hope this evening finds you safe and well.
Safe and well. There it is. See?
What's going on?
Appreciate you hopping in. Yeah, normally it's a whole show dedicated to it. I do a lot of like preparation way in advance, fishing for guests to try to get everyone on here to give them time. I didn't do that for this movie because I didn't have high hopes for this movie. I just kind of saw the writing on the wall. So I threw out a small invitation to a couple people and really just you, Nick, Remy, and Tyler for the most part, outside of Ryan and the Comic Vet. Ryan will be here. Nick's on vacation. We were just backstage with him. He did pop in to say, hey, I would like Remy to show up because I think that he actually is primed to love this movie no matter what. So it'd be great to hear his perspective. But you got us to kick it off, and we're going to be talking the show for at least a little bit here. And later on in the show, when Ryan gets here, me and him will dive into comics for this week because there was some good stuff, and I'm excited about getting into that as well.
Yeah, and I just want to say thank you for the invitation. I accepted the invitation. My hairline did not, clearly. So
You're so self-conscious about that. Is this the first time you noticed it?
Today, I guess. I don't know. I don't walk around looking in the mirrors, Mark.
I don't either. That's why I wear a hat.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Get you a hat or a Sharpie. Either one can solve the problem.
I know. Pass me the Beijing.
We'll say hey to the chat real quick. We got Las Crucias 1971 up in here. What's going on? DJ was in that chat earlier. Wheelchair Superhero 87. What is up, Kyle? Pops is in the building. Digger Jim, who put out an awesome video today. Everyone should definitely go check that out. He did his new comic cover challenge video. That's awesome.
Villains, baby. Villains.
Paul Rogers, what is going on? Headquake Jr., what's going on, Jeff? Good to see you, buddy. Greetings and salutations to all. There's Nick. Insider information. Links loved the movie.
Adored.
Four slabs. Hello, everyone. What's going on, Thomas Caps? And we got Miss Soa's up in here. How are you doing? Mark Spector Comics in the building. Flo, what's happening? Mark for Hater of the Year at the Play a Haters Ball. Hate. Now, excuse me while I go put some water in Flo's mama's dish. We're going to give Links the Carlos Boozer.
Oh, no. Was that like the painted on shit? And then you go outside when it's raining and it's like you're done?
Oh, man, that'd be rough. Well, I appreciate everyone popping in. We got 17 people watching, so we're going to get right into it. Full disclosure, I have not seen this movie yet proper. I will be going to the theater on vacation to watch it. So I'm going to be asking DJ questions. And because everyone knows I'm going to hate the movie. I already hate the movie. And all right, just being honest, I've watched a lot of footage from it already. I just haven't gone to the movie theater, sat down and watched it. I've watched all the little breakdown videos and all that stuff because I really had no desire to run to go see it. And while we're on vacation, there's a little theater on the island that we always try to go hit. And this and Minions are the two that are on the list to see. So
yes,
it'll probably be enjoyable to see in that environment. So that's the best bet this movie has to entertain me is not carving time out of my busy day to go get let down. But needing something to do in an afternoon while it's raining.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to see it. I would suggest seeing Minions first.
Probably like it better.
Probably.
And yeah, it has a lot higher rating on Rotten Tomatoes from the critics and the what are the other people, the audience.
I don't normally follow Rotten Tomatoes. I can't do citrus because of the acid reflux.
Okay, that makes sense. I didn't know a tomato was citrus.
Yeah, it's in the orange family.
Okay. Why don't they just call it reds?
I don't know. Oh man, fire me! I'm already fired.
Hating on the movie and has a scene. That's top shelf hater. Top hater stuff. Yeah.
No,
So
yeah,
go ahead. Go ahead.
You go ahead.
I was gonna start asking you questions.
Yeah, all right. So let me just address like we've disagreed on the approach to this Thor movie. You hated it from the jump. I'm like, give it a chance. I'm super excited for it. I love Thor Ragnarok. Love Thor Ragnarok. It's probably in my top. It's around like number 7 or 6 or 7 as far as MCU movies go. Love Thor Ragnarok. So I disagreed with your hate leading up to this. Like, I'm gonna hate this movie. This movie sucks. I see the writing on the wall. And boy, sir, do I owe you an apology. Because this movie sucked donkey nuts. And I am going to be full of expletives, and I'm just angry. I'm angry today. I hated this movie. Oh my god.
The goats, the screaming goats.
Yeah. The entire movie, I'm like this. I'm leaning on the chair, on the armrest, hand in jaw, angry that people are laughing at these stupid screaming goats. Mrs. Lynx is having a blast. She loved the screaming goats.
That meme that you shared really said it all with it. Person just frustrated, crying.
Yeah, I was definitely like that. The last movie, and what happens is I'm not like a movie snob or anything like that. I enjoy bad movies. As a matter of fact, today we watched a terrible horror movie on Netflix. Look for like what's the worst one, and we watched it, and it was just like, okay, cool. That's how we spent our Sunday. This was the first movie in a long time, big budget theater blockbuster movie, where I left angry and I was pissed off. So the last one. So even like Venom 2, like I knew going in it was gonna be bad, so we just went. It was to kill time.
We went knowing because like, dude, we're coming out of COVID. We can go have the theater experience again, and that's all that made it bearable. Was that it was like that step back in.
Yeah, and it was like with seeing Venom 2, there was like a handful of people. I saw it in Florida. Mm-hmm. The last movie that pissed me off like this was Joss Whedon's Justice League, where I in the middle of the movie I just gave up. And I was just like, this shit is the worst. And there was a moment in this Thor movie. I had hope for it. And then we'll get into like detailed spoilers. I had hope for it. Literally around the 12, 13 minute mark, that's when I fully shut down, dude. Like I was just like, this movie is going to be trash at the 13-minute mark. Or whatever it is. I'm just saying the 13-minute mark. But it was when he rode fucking Stormbreaker like the Wicked Witch of the West. Like, I was just like, what is this? What is going on? And that I instantly like, yeah, I just like went in my chair, like all soaking, like, this movie's gonna suck.
Well, they did a lot of weird shit with Stormbreaker in this movie, from it being visually jealous and having like relationship problems with Thor to drinking beer. Like it was ridiculously stupid. Now, so while we're on the topic of hammers, like, what was the deal with the way that Natalie Portman got her powers? Like, obviously, Mjolnir's broken. It's right where it was left in Thor Ragnarok, and they built a shrine around Mjolnir's pieces. And her just walking up by it, it like senses her worthiness, and it comes back together and presents itself to her. Basically, is that right?
So she was in her lab. She was getting chemotherapy. She had cancer. And that was another thing. And we'll get into like the things that I really hated, like the tone where it was like super kiddie and then super dark. It was like, So she had the cancer. She's in her lab. And right before that, she's talking to Darcy. And Darcy is just like, just listen to the universe. Let the universe guide you. Now, the entire movie is all about I guess like the themes and stuff like that is all about I don't want to say religion, but let's say like a higher power. So it's all about the gods. Let the universe guide you. There's like meditation. There's like all these things that have to do with like a higher power. So Darcy is telling her, let the universe guide you. And Natalie Portman is in the lab, and then she has like books on the table, and one of them is about like Mjolnir, or not Mjolnir. It has to be about Asgard. And then she hears like a voice, and it's just like it was calling to her. So then she went to New Asgard, and she goes around it was legit in a circular kind of platform thing, all the pieces, no one can pick it up. And she stood next to it. First of all, when it didn't make any sense, because security is just like, not security, but the entire tour group that was looking at it, they finished. They were like, all right, ladies and gentlemen, let's move on to the next thing. And she just stood around lurking. Security would have been like, miss, you gotta go. But anyway, she it started like moving. It started like, and that was just like, oh snap, she's worthy. But it didn't come together then. It was just like the tease. Like it started like shaking, and then it like cut to some dumb shit.
So, like, just her being worthy, it could sense that. Was Thor not worthy in Ragnarok all of a sudden when it broke? Like, it didn't just, come back together for him? How was that explained, or
No,
anything? No.
So
Nothing.
The entire flick, so Natalie Portman to me was like one of the bright spots out of the movie. Like I think she did well. She's not like my favorite actress. I don't think she's like super likable like that. So I think she was one of the bright spots in the whole movie. Her whole thing with cancer, and then being worthy, and even in the action scenes, like she did really, really well in the action scenes. She looked like she kind of bulked up as well, which was pretty cool.
The clips of Mjolnir actually like going to pieces and coming back. That was super dope. Like the special effects.
Yeah, that was like she would throw Mjolnir, and then it would like break apart and then act like bullets almost, the pieces, and then come back on the hammer. That was pretty dope. But back to Thor, and they explained that from Ragnarok. A lot of the stuff that Thor maybe overcame in past movies, like the PTSD in Infinity War or going into Endgame, being like the arrogant douchebag from Thor 1 that he overcame to prove that he's worthy, reverted all the way back to like childish. That's one of the major problems I had. So like with Ragnarok, Thor was still Thor, but he was just funny. In this one, he was legit Joey Tribbiani, just like dumb. They just made him dumb. So it was like, yeah, completely against what Thor stands for. Like I could still see him being funny because he has great comedic timing. They just made the characters like so stupid, man.
And that's exactly how I felt in Ragnarok. I just have a smaller acceptance style for the goofy Thor is all it is. Like a lot of people went, this was over their limit.
Yeah.
Like if you go I saw a paid promotion for a Thor ad on Instagram today, and probably at least 95% of the comments were saying the same thing. This movie was a joke. Y'all turned Thor to a joke. What a waste of a movie. Blah blah blah. And I'm like, wow, it's getting a lot of the same criticism across the board.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I'm not like fanboy hating. I'm just like, from a movie perspective, the like tone was all over the place. At least with Ragnarok, you had a consistent tone where it's just like everything was funny. There were goofy characters. Nothing was really too serious. Even Hela, for when she still was kind of like goofy in a sense.
Jeff Goldblum was straight lovable though.
Yeah, no, Jeff Goldblum is the tits.
Yeah,
but his
timing is flawless.
Yeah, I watched it the other day, and that's why I was like super hyped for this one, because I watched Ragnarok, and I was just I love Ragnarok, like every single thing about Ragnarok. Yo, what's up, Brian?
What it do?
What's going on, homie?
That
guy. Not to sound rude, I just didn't know you were going to be here. I was expecting Chris, so completely different face, much more hair.
This is Chris Light.
Okay.
That makes I am sense. Chris. I love Spider-Man.
I would have made a Canadian joke, but Spider-Man's good too.
No, so back to the unbalanced tone. So the movie starts out, and Ryan, full, obviously you're here, is full spoilers for Thor.
Yeah, go ahead.
When it starts out with Gore's story. So Gore praying to the gods, save my daughter, this, that, and it's super heavy. So immediately I'm like, oh snap, like this has a chance. So it's like that. He goes to his daughter dies, it's like a mirage, goes in, and his god is there, and he's just like, whatever, blah, blah. And then the god is like a complete, total, like jerk. So that's what fuels Gore to go on his I'm gonna kill all the gods mission. And I think his name was like Rapu or some shit. And like that beginning scene was like really dark. And then after that, you get to Korg telling the story about how, like, the Thor story about like how he was the Thanos, this and that. Went on the Guardians of the Galaxy, went with them, do their journeys, worked out, got his body back, and now he's just sitting on top of a mountain meditating. And when people call on him, he goes and helps them. Again, the whole thing about praying to the gods. That movie sucked. I can't. And it's just like right after that, it was like fucking. He had Stormbreaker in the ground, and then it grew roots. So are we gonna get like Stormbreaker's gonna turn into like a Groot or something? Like it makes no sense.
Well, it gets worse by the end.
It makes no sense.
What they do with Stormbreaker?
Oh man, and then right after that, when they were he hops on Stormbreaker like the Wicked Witch of the West, and like he legit flies off, whee, riding Stormbreaker.
I'm sorry.
What other questions do you
So
have?
how much, like, because I know like you get like this cool montage in the beginning with him, his time with the Ravengers, kind of keep bridging the gap between last time we saw him ride off with the Ravengers. Now it opens up with him with the Ravengers. He's basically with the Guardians of the Galaxy. How much of this film do we get with him with the Guardians of the Galaxy? Because it only looks like we get that scene in the beginning with the blue people. It almost looks like Yondu's people to a degree, where they're fighting the Jim Henson furries.
Total screen time with the Ravagers, 5 minutes, maybe less.
Wow,
maybe less. So I know he has like a kind of a when he's telling Star-Lord goodbye that he's gonna go on his journey, and then they're about to take off.
Did they kiss? They look like they're about to kiss in the trailer.
They almost look like they were about to kiss. Yes, Two Brothers Comics hit it on the head. Thor was all trash. Yeah, that shit was trash. So the other blue people, I don't think they were Yondu's people. It was like, I don't know. So whatever. So there were these aliens that kind of took over the temple where those blue people worship. So the aliens look like, you know, the big monster dude from the Muppets.
Yeah,
that's
like
in the full
suit.
Yeah. So they look just like him. So they're on top of the temple, like shooting guns, and then Thor comes out and is just like, "Okay, you called on me. I am here to help. I am Thor." And you know, he proceeds like to kick their asses. That looked pretty cool. I know you saw the screenshot, or somebody had to post it, of him doing the split.
Yeah, I posted that the moment I saw it.
Yeah, that made me want to pick up my giant bowl of popcorn and just fucking throw it at the screen. Mm-hmm. I was just like,
so this comment right here. When I love seeing this comment. These movies are not made for comic book nerds. This is made for entertaining a larger audience. That's actually the problem. There's a large variety of movies for the large audience to go see, but when you're adapting comic book movies, you do it for the comic book fans and draw in more people. You don't forget about your fandom first. That's a problem. We're going to go host a sporting event, but we're going to aim it toward a larger audience and not think about the sports fans when we do it. That makes zero sense. I understand they want to make money, but that's the problem.
Yeah, no, I understand that point. I am going to disagree with you and say it is made for the larger audience, but and however, the movie's still trash no matter who it's made for, and that's the problem. So whether it's a larger audience, whether it's a niche audience, whether it's comic book nerds, the movie is still bad.
Yeah, I'm not saying they need to make like a cult following film. You know what I mean? Like for forever, since the 70s, they have made comic book movies with comic book nerds at heart that have appealed to large audiences, starting with Christopher Reeve's Superman. Enough said. Like, it's always worked when you make a good movie. You don't have to make a cult following movie to make the comic nerds happy by any means. But when you leave them in the dust, it's not going to work out.
Yeah, any way you slice it, if this was like super comic accurate, whatever, like there's no way of saving this movie. I'm sorry, like this movie was complete shit. This movie was Josh Whedon scene with in the Josh Whedon Justice League when Bruce
when they sit on the rope.
No, when Bruce meant to meet up with Barry, and then Barry's talking about, oh, brunch. I love brunch. I want to go to brunch, but this is the equivalent of that fucking scene. I hate it. I hate it all.
I mean, I haven't seen this one. I haven't seen like Multiverse of Madness, so take everything I say with a grain of salt, obviously. But the last several Marvel movies have just felt like they're shooting an extremely long episode of a TV show, and you're just getting like one episode every couple months anymore. Like, they dropped the numbering from the series. They keep the character name in the title, but I don't know why, because they bring so many other things into it from the universe at large. And so like all of these last couple of movies have just felt like another episode of a very long TV show. And honestly, it's kind of better than what they're doing with a lot of their TV shows anyway, but it's still just like, I don't feel like they're making movies anymore. They're just making another installment in this like long running TV show.
Yeah, because there aren't any stakes.
So how do they get picked up on Gore being a problem for them, for Thor specifically?
Gore attacks Asgard, and then Thor. I'm kind of, and then people in the chat, if you've seen it, like help me out. Gore attacks. Oh, that's what it is. So somebody says something about Gore, that there's this guy killing gods. I think it was like Star-Lord or one of the Guardians of the Galaxy. So they're like, we have to venture out into the vast universe and go help other gods. You go help because you like chill on Earth and you know Earth. You go help the people out on Earth. And then he's like, yeah, fine, I'll do that. So then it cuts to Gore attacking in the middle of the night New Asgard. So Gore attacks New Asgard. He's pretty cool. The way he's maneuvering, creating monsters out of shadows, which I heard that Taika Waititi and Chris Hemsworth kids came up with the concept drawings for these monsters.
Who were all in the movie, by the way.
Yeah.
Like Gore's daughter was Chris Hemsworth's daughter. Young Thor in the flashback running is Chris Hemsworth's son. Christian Bale's kids were even some of the tourists on the tour boat scene area. Like the entire family was in it. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, so I had quick hit it. Sith calls them on the thing, is like, we need help. So that's how it is. Then Thor goes to where Sith was, which
is that like a FaceTime call?
Yeah, or in the Guardian ship or something like that. I don't know. She gets some sort of... Oh, it was a whole bunch of distress calls. So there were like hundreds of distress calls, and one of them just happened to be Sith, and he was just like, all right, cool. I'm going to go check out Sith. The rest of you Guardians of the Galaxy.
That's kind of how it went down whenever Donny Cates brought in, what's his name? Thor's alter ego. He came in and cut the sword from Lady Sif's hand.
Yeah.
What is it? Dark Winter something?
No, that was before that. But yeah, whenever they brought him in, like that was basically what happened. Like he reigned terror in Asgard, and like they just started sending out all their like help signals, like, oh no, we're being murdered.
That's exactly what, oh no. So then he goes, Lady Sith. So if you saw the trailer, it's where, and it's taken directly from the book, where they're on top of the mountain, and then you see, I think his name is Faragard, the big beast that's just laying dead. So that was like the god of that realm where they were. Okay. And they killed him, and then Lady Sith is there, and her arm is chopped off. And she's like, and even that they turn into a joke. So she's laying there dying, right? Dying. And then she's just like, oh, I'm gonna die. I'll see you in Valhalla. And he's like, well, you're not gonna die. Your arm is just chopped off. So no Valhalla for you. And it's like, come on, man. Taylor Winder, I think he just dropped a video too talking about it. I can't wait to see that and hear his thoughts. I know he's super critical.
He gave it a 6.0.
6.0. It's fine. Fuck this.
It's fine.
Your arm is
I was just like, come on, man. Like
that in this movie, apparently.
Yeah, that actually made me chuckle. I didn't want to say it, but I was just like, yeah, he was like, your arm is in Valhalla, but you're still alive. And then she goes, oh shit, like you're right. They use the word shit a lot. They're like, yo, we're gonna use shit as many times as we're allowed to.
Yeah, I still agree with this, but I can't recommend anybody. I wouldn't recommend anybody going to pay to see any Thor movie after Ragnarok, though. That's nothing about this one. That's just me personally. I'm a tough sell. I'm a tough sell. But I've just been let down consistently by Disney and their superheroes. It just gets, I don't know. I've just had enough with it. I think Moon Knight broke me. Like I was already ready, for it to take a turn for the better, and then Moon Knight came out with the worst writing I've seen in any television series ever.
I hate
And
it.
then Doctor Strange came out, and it was just so not good or not bad, just so bland. And like, dude, I'm not even about to waste my time with Thor. I'll wait till something else.
Yeah, no, and see, and Doctor Strange for me is a perfect example of I thought Doctor Strange was horrible, but enjoyable, and it was fun, and I've watched it twice already, and I'm gonna watch it again. There was a lot of bad in Doctor Strange, but it was super enjoyable. I think for me,
You can laugh at Doctor Strange.
yeah, this one
Like,
there's just not a lot for me. And like back to the tone, I don't know who it was for. So you have the serious no killing people scenes. You have the serious cancer scenes in Jane, which was super. And for me, like I kind of relate to that because I had people in my family pass of cancer and stuff like that. So super heavy stuff. And then you have like the crazy jokey stuff, which didn't make any sense whatsoever. And it's just like just the tone was all over the place. And then it's just like, who is this movie for? Who's the audience, right? So it's like you got the dark stuff and then you got the kiddie stuff. But then at the same time, amongst those jokes, like the kiddie jokes, especially when they were in Omnipotent City, you got them talking about orgies and shit. You got them showing a buck ass naked Thor. You got the making jokes about his dick size and shit, and the women like swooning all over him. So if I'm there like with my kid and I'm like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Russell Crowe as Zeus, can we discuss?
Astrid Axel assholes, yes, much sense.
That was funny. He was like, asshole, yes, go on. Yeah, that was funny.
So yeah, like what brought them to Omnipotent City? Because at that point he had already linked up with Jane and everything. Obviously, you saw her when he was defending some city or whatever.
Yeah,
They just crossed paths and move forward together from there, kind of thing.
yeah.
The coast.
What got them there was I think they learned of Gore's plan, where Gore was like he wanted to get to the center of the universe to see eternity, to the eternity gates. And then once he got to see eternity, which looked amazing, by the way, straight out of the comic book, eternity. Once he got to the eternity gates, this is so stupid. He will be able to make one wish. So as his prize, it's like you got me. So it's like what's his name? Atreyu passing the oracle things, and it's like whatever. It's like, all right, you're here, you got me, one wish. So they learned that, and then like, let's just go to Omnipotent City where all the gods live, and we'll just get them to help us and stuff. And yeah, so there was like, let's just go, and they just went and showed up in Omnipotent City, which was ruled by Zeus, and there was a lot of gods. One thing that I thought, I'm just ruining the whole thing. They're like, we need an army, which doesn't make any sense. Thank you, Dave. To remove the religious markings, yeah.
Yeah, there was a deleted scene because if you watch the trailer, Christian Bale, you'll see some scenes where he has tattoos on his head, some scenes where there's scars. After he gave up the gods and went on his mission, he carved his tattoos off of himself, and they took that scene out of the movie.
Yeah, so Thor, that's right. Dave is absolutely right. They went in search of an army. They were like, let's go to Omnipotent City. Let's get an army. But I'm going to fast forward to the ending. They reached a spot where they would have to walk it back so much to erase the human. Yeah. So in the very end, as they're fighting Gore, it's all the children that they have to save, all the Asgardian children. Original art.
Oh,
Oh.
Green Lanterns.
So they had to save all the children. Thor bestows his power amongst the children. So he's just like, all you children, grab something, grab anything, grab a rock, grab your stuffed animal, whatever. And then he gathers them all around. He's like, gather around. And then he's just like, okay, so whoever be worthy out of this group, I'm going to bestow the power of Thor upon you for a limited time. Now you're all mini Thors.
Every one of them were worthy, by the way. Not a single unworthy child in the bunch.
I mean, children are children.
Yeah, Thor was a child too once, and then he had to get worthy.
No, he was a jerk teenager. He was an arrogant jerk teenager, a 10,000-year-old teenager.
So what did they do to Zeus to piss him off so bad? Like,
so they want his help. They're like, no. Then he's just like, all right, just let me borrow his lightning. So the lightning rod thing is actually a weapon. So he's like, let me borrow your lightning.
Right? And it's called
Mm-hmm. So then he's like, I don't know. Thor's just talking back. The gods, Zeus and them, are just like, yo, like, we don't care. We're gods. Like, none of this matters. Like, our city is safe. They don't know. Gore doesn't know where the city is. So why should we help anybody if he's not going to come over here and do anything to us? So it kind of proves Gore's point about the gods just being douchebags and worried about themselves. So they get into it, whatever. That's when they grab Thor, and he's like, flick, and flicked his clothes off. And all the women are like, ah.
But don't switch those roles around, or it's an issue.
Yeah. I want to see a movie where somebody like swoons over some titties. How about that?
It'd be nice. I think they did one of those with Demi Moore and Burt Reynolds back in the day.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, so they get into it. Thor winds up grabbing the lightning bolt, so Zeus throws it at Thor, and being that they have similar powers, Thor's able to grab it. Boom, throws it right through Zeus, goes through his chest. Now Zeus is dead. And then they break out.
Not before Zeus threw that lightning bolt through Korg also, making it look like he killed Korg for a second there. Crumbles down slowly, all somatically. It's all sad, but apparently he can't die. Now he's just a head, and he's traveling around with Korg's head. Oh, you didn't like that? You didn't like the Korg head?
I'll decline Korg head.
Declining Korg head.
No Korg head for me, please. I totally forgot about that. I thought Korg was dead, and I was just like, oh shit. I thought the movie was gonna turn. Oh no, not my head. The only part of me that's alive is my face.
Goofy. Two birds
out.
The Italian. WTF was up with that accent? Was he just using his regular Russell Crowe accent? He's from Australia.
No, he was like legit, like
Italian accent.
Yeah. Oh, Thor, you're not invited to the orgy. That's a spicy meatball.
Oh wow, he went full Mario on us.
Yeah, I was like, yo,
why the Korgs have to hold hands with another Korg to make a baby Korg? Now, this was something that I pointed out to DJ before. So Korg is turned out to be gay, and he's in love with another rock guy named Dwayne, like Dwayne the Rock Johnson. So they have like a shot at the Rock in the movie as well.
Yeah, like I didn't understand this, and obviously I'm super, LGBTQ ally. I believe in inclusion. Everybody needs to be represented and stuff like that. But that was kind of a head scratch. That came out of nowhere. It's me, Zeus. Exactly. Hey, what is going on? Two Brothers Comics. Hey.
You can get some great Korg head in Mexico for $10.
Yeah. No, so I kind of scratched my head when Korg was just like about, the Korg dads and all this other stuff. But I was just like, whatever. If that's what they choose to do with fictional characters and explain their whole way they procreate, let it be. Like, whatever. I was just like, that doesn't make any sense. And for some reason, maybe I'm 1000% completely wrong. I thought he was the last Cronin, and they made that known in Ragnarok. Like, I might be completely wrong. Would you put this over Ragnarok regarding Thor movies? I would actually, and obviously this is the emotion and the passion talking. I think this is bottom 3 Thor, but not even Thor movies, bottom 3 MCU movies for me. Like, I would put Captain Marvel over this.
I do not know anything about this movie, to be honest. This chat is just like, what is going on? They're talking about Korg and other Korgs and screaming goats. I don't get it. Like, and Italian Zeus. Like, my collection of this movie based on this chat is just like, what happened?
Yeah,
I think that's an accurate accurate representation of the film, though.
yeah.
Because even
Like, I
even
at
the
least know what a
early reviews,
Korg is. I do not understand what they're talking about with goats.
Korg is the rock guy from Ragnarok that runs around with Thor. He was in the arena.
Yeah,
The
yeah, I
literal,
get that. I know what a Korg is, so I
no,
can
that's his
understand two
name.
Korg.
Yeah.
I don't understand the goat thing. There's goats in this
Oh,
movie? Is that what I'm getting?
yeah,
Or are they
so-
talking about like the greatest of
Yeah,
all time?
they have a
It's-
sleigh that is pulled by two space goats that do a lot of goat screaming.
so in the beginning when
Oh,
Thor
that sounds miserable.
horrible, dude. When Thor saves that in the opening sequence or the second sequence when he saves those people and in turn destroys their temples because all of a sudden he doesn't care about collateral damage, something that he overcame in the other movies. And they gifted him, it was like two giant screaming goats, and that was the running gag throughout the entire movie. Whenever there's some sort of lull or something, or you hear
Oh, that's stupid.
it was torture. It was
Well, do
like
you remember
getting
in Thor Dark World, the beginning of Thor Dark World, when he was trying to clean up the realms with that opening scene? You had him like fighting that little army, and they all stop and back up, and a big Korg comes walking up.
Oh, yeah.
Thor just spins a hammer and uppercuts him, and just sends him into rubble. I guess he's still alive too.
his face was just like jokes on you, motherfucker. Yeah,
Dude, and we know Ben Grimm is coming to the She-Hulk show, so maybe there's a future relationship with Ben Grimm and Korg that we can all look forward to as well.
I'd get down for that. What I thought was really cool, like one of the things in the background of Omnipotent City that I thought was really cool when they showed Korg's god, Nini Nani. He was like, oh, hopefully we see Nini Nani, blah, blah. So they showed him, and he was sitting on a throne, and it was like the Game of Thrones throne, but instead of swords, it was all like scissors. I was just like, that's no. So then my wife was just like, "What? I don't understand that. Why was it scissors?" And I was just like, "Oh, because rock paper scissors is like rock defeats scissors, whatever." So I imagine there's some sort of
There's jokes and everything.
race that uses scissors as weapons.
They were more concerned with getting the corny, dumb jokes, goat screaming, and the Stormbreaker temper tantrums in the movie than showing Jane becoming Thor or any character development in gore. And that was kind of like what the early reviewers were like. They were going up like the movie was just a jumbled, out of tone, fast paced mess.
It's
And
definitely
one of the first comparisons was this was on the par with Batman and Robin, like the Joel Schumacher Batman and Robin, which is
I wouldn't go that
tonal mess. I didn't. That's not my opinion. I haven't seen it. That was one of the early reviews that came out and started going around.
I wouldn't go that far. But I agree. I agree definitely.
Well, it sounds like they slathered it in a layer of internet meme culture. So,
dude, that's
exactly what
TikTok
movies need.
It's the first TikTok movie where it's just like, look at
that's
me,
what it sounds like.
oh, look at me, screaming goats. Oh, look at me, I'm TikTok. It's fucking terrible, man.
It's just stupid. Why are you building a 2-hour movie around 15-second videos? That's stupid.
So, moving along in the movie.
Yes.
So Gore gets to Eternity's temple, and they catch up with him there, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Big final battle. So his sword, all black, is steadily killing him as he's using it.
Yeah.
Jane's hammer is steadily killing her. She's using it. Apparently, it burns out the chemo in her every time she uses it, causing the cancer to do its thing and stuff. So she's been sidelined for the final fight or something, and she comes back in the last minute and saves the day.
Yeah, so there was a real heartfelt scene between her and Thor where she's, in the hospital bed getting treatment, and he tells her that the magic is conflicting with the chemo. So every time you turn into, Mighty Thor, the chemo's not working and you're getting closer to death. So they have a real heartfelt scene, and that was actually one of the best scenes in the movie, and it shows Chris Hemsworth, his range as an actor. So not just like the silly shit. He's he could put it on when he wants to.
Bro, some of his best performances on his Netflix movies where he's like serious as hell, like Extraction.
That was a good one.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So they have that scene, and then he's just like, please, just I need you to stay here. If I don't tell you to stay here or ask you to stay here, I'm gonna regret it. Like if I tell you to come with me, you know, I'm gonna regret it if something happens to you. And then she was just like, all right, just make sure you come back. So then he goes off to fight Gore, and then she stays there. But then later on, like Gore is kicking his ass, and then she shows up to help. And you know, I'll say it again. I think Natalie Portman was the best part of this movie.
And the way that she they broke,
Scott fucking hates Batman.
he does. The way that he broke all black, and then she kind of absorbed it into her hammer using the way that it like fractures and comes back and pulls it to her and just strikes it and everything. And then I thought that it was kind of a cool little exchange, though very short-lived, when Christian Bale's actually standing in front of eternity, and Thor has that last little moment when he's like telling him like, I know your pain, I understand what you're going through, but this is not the way. And he turns around and says like, what kind of father would I be if I did it? But then he kind of makes the right call, though.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think I don't know, man. I think if this was like it's even hard to say, because it's like, do I want a two-parter of this nonsense? Because Christian Bale's Gore wasn't a terrible character had he been more fleshed out and given more like time to develop. Had they included the scenes of him, you know, taking off his religious tattoos and getting the scars. It's funny because it's just like, I thought, because I know the sword was corrupting him, like I didn't catch on to that, or I didn't read anything saying that, oh, he carved it out. So I kind of thought he was transforming. So in my stupid mind, I'm like, oh shit, so is he going to transform to the comic book accurate Gore by the end of the
everybody that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, and that actually, that didn't happen. But I don't know, dude. I don't know.
So there you have it. The verdict is, I don't know, dude. That's how you come out. So there's two after scene credits to this. The first one you see, well, obviously Jane dies, saving the day. She saves the day, and then she gets dusted. Monkey was wearing that all day earlier. She's super cute in it. And the first after credit scene, we see that she goes to Valhalla. She meets up with Heimdall, who's been dead since Infinity War. So she's happily existing in another realm at this point, another plane of existence. The second one, we see that Zeus is still alive, because DJ did put up those air quotes earlier. But he's still alive, and he called upon.
Oh, that was a tick.
Okay, he's got a tick. So Zeus is still alive, tick, and he calls upon his son Hercules to go seek revenge for him for what Thor did. So Hercules looked pretty dope. Like what they do with him, I don't know, but I thought that the design and stuff, I mean, it looked pretty cool to me.
Super comic accurate. I
guess that's why it looked cool.
Not gonna lie, I couldn't get past the chest there. I was like, oh shit, like what the hell?
My man eats his Wheaties.
I'm like, yo, what's going on over there? They don't have a razor in Omnipotent City.
They didn't shave before the orgy?
Yeah, like come on, man. I always shave before my orgies.
You got to.
What's an orgy? Like, come on, man. Like, how you gonna talk about that shit? And it wasn't just like they mentioned it once. It was like, you're not invited to the orgy. I said no orgy for you. No orgy, whatever. And it's just like they said it like 3 times back to back to back, and I'm pretty sure they're like a kid is gonna turn over to the parents and it's just like, what's an orgy? Then you gotta like send them the link, and it's just like
send them the link, send them over to Rob's Slab Hub. You'll learn everything you need to know here. Can we talk about how Gore got one wish, and wishes to bring back his daughter and also not save himself? I mean, there's 1,000 ways he could have saved his daughter, and not just by bringing just her and only her back. You know, Tony did it with the snap.
Yeah. I thought that was corny, man. I thought that was super corny. I want my bad guy to be a bad guy. Like whatever happened to the bad guys. I mean, besides Thanos, like I don't know, man. Like I hate that it's just like he had his little redemption at the end. F that. Like he should go down trying to destroy the world, and then die, and then be like, I was trying to kill you, but you got me instead. Go fuck yourself, and then like die.
So speaking of tie-ins to the universe, was this kind of anything bridging this, anything other than the Guardians being in there? Just kind of, it's kind of coming from somewhere, but it doesn't really link up with anything else going on. No Doctor Strange connections, no Shang-Chi connections, no Eternal connections. This phase is just trash. This entire phase is just a waste of a phase.
Yeah, this didn't bridge to anything. other than another Thor movie. So they introduced Hercules at the end.
Yeah.
When the credits rolled, Thor will return. So that's kind of confirmation that we will have a Thor. The other credits after credit scene was like that Jane meeting up on Heimdall in Valhalla. So Jane's dead and Heimdall, which that was good to see. Like there's kind of like just bookend them. That's it. They're done. Nothing else. Yeah, but this didn't like lead into anything else. So I don't know what if the Guardians of the Galaxy movie is gonna take place like way after that or whatever, because it basically shows the divergence of Thor going this way and Guardians going that way. So as Guardians of the Galaxy movie, if you wanted to see that, good luck.
Mm-hmm. But they can't do that because these soft ass people want soft ass villains. They want villains they can like.
Yeah, like I want a Hans Gruber in MCU form. That's what I want. Oh my god, it's him! It's him! Yeah, like give me a Hans Gruber. That's why I think Thanos was like one of the better villains. I mean, I'm clearly I'm a Thanos guy. Oh shit, I didn't even realize my shirt. But yeah, we need like I want to destroy the villains. But then when you get one of those villains like Malekith from Thor: The Dark World 2, it's just like
he's just a bad guy.
Yeah, he's just a bad guy. It doesn't make any sense. Like I get
Red
it.
Skull.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Some men just want to see the world burn.
Yeah, that's
why can't we accept that?
I'm evil for the sake of being evil.
Scott's going to have to accept that the Batman is still and probably going to finish this year by being the best superhero movie of the year. I don't even think Scott's seen the Batman yet, as much shit as he talks about it.
Oh, and I love the Batman. And I just want to say, yeah, I'm bashing this movie and all that stuff. I'm a super MCU diehard. I was super excited for this movie literally until 13 minutes in. And yeah, normally I'm not a big hater of movies. Like I love cinema. I love movies. I like all the movies in Phase 4. I'm not I don't love them, but I like all the movies in Phase 4 except for this one. Yeah, I couldn't. I don't know.
Eternals was trash too.
I really liked Eternals, but Eternals had the same tone struggle. Oh, one thing to talk about in the Eternals, right? When Dane Whitman with the sword, how the sword was calling him, that was pretty much how the sword called to Gore. So like that god in the beginning, Rapu, he had the sword because there was a guy there with the sword that was going to kill him, and he was able to kill that guy. And the sword was there, and it was the same thing. Like it was calling to no. One of the things, and this is probably why I did it, I was just like, no. So they passed a law in New York. I don't know if it's New York or if it's like federal. I think
where are you going with this, Tyler?
All movies have to have subtitles now. So I was super distracted because I am not a subtitle guy. So this is the first movie I seen in the theater that wasn't a foreign film that had the subtitles, and I was just like, I was super distracted.
I think that's a New York thing.
Yeah, it's probably definitely a New York thing. Yes, Ashton. Black Adam is gonna be the hero and he's gonna help in the climax of the movie, and he's gonna be like, "Hey, I'm Black Adam," and then Korg is gonna come out and be like, "Oh, hey, Dwayne, remember me? Korg."
Yeah,
my face.
Black Adam hasn't been a straight evil villain for a long, long time. He's the Doctor Doom of the DC universe when it comes to that. Like he's got his own country that he stays in, he lords over, and he's happy to defend it by his means necessary, and no one will tell him otherwise.
Yeah, Tyler. Yeah. I can't. Yeah, the subtitle thing. I think that's what probably put me in a bad mood too. And I was just like, oh, now I gotta fucking. Not only do I have to see this terrible movie, I have to read about this terrible movie.
Yeah.
Not read about it, just read it.
Black Adam has always been a hero. Everyone against him are the bad guys. Just ask him.
Brother John, did you get your package, man?
DJ wants to know about your package, John.
Hey, that's a call joke. Yeah, so anyway, over and all, that's just my thoughts on the movie. I hated it, like hated it. But yeah, take my whatever thoughts and my words with a grain of salt. If you're so inclined, go see see it on your own, see it yourself. Like my wife really enjoyed it. My daughter really enjoyed it. And when I say my daughter's in her 20s. She really enjoyed it. So I don't know. Maybe I was just being a hater, but definitely like, make up your own mind. See it, make up your own mind. Do whatever it do. Hopefully you got some rewards points and don't pay for it and it's free.
Well, everybody hit that thumbs up button and then put in hashtag Thor. And we're going to give away some books. And then we're going to start reviewing and talking about some comic books after that.
All right, cool. Just hashtag Thor or hashtag Thor sucks?
Thor sucks has too many letters, and it's really just implied with Thor these days. So just hashtag Thor. But there's 24 people watching. We need at least 24 thumbs up before we spend this shit. So I'll show you what we'll be giving away tonight. The fantastic people of Aftershock Comics gave me a bunch of books at Heroes Con to pass back out to the community and stuff. One of them is being Dogs of London, issue number 1. This is obviously a newer series. I think issue 2 just came out.
Yeah,
issue 3 comes out next week.
So issue 3 is about to come out. So here's issue 1. You'll be able to try it out.
It's a cool cover.
Great read too.
It is a cool cover. It's a lot of dead bodies.
Yeah.
It's an outline of a dog around a metaphor for the Thor franchise. So, and then, I can do this all day. And then we've got Primordial number 1, the big time collectibles exclusive trade dress by none other than the always fantastic Alan Qua. Gorgeous cover.
Jesus.
That's the only issue worth reading.
Yeah.
Bring up Tyler's comment.
Where's it at?
You might get canceled.
We're going to belatedly abort Thor. And then lastly, I scored a stack of these at one of the local shops here recently, and that's Spider-Man 2099 issue number 1.
Ooh, hockey.
And that's actually a really clean copy.
That's clean, dude.
It's super clean, and I got a stack of them, and they all look clean like that. Mine, I've got numerous copies. I have one in a 9.8 already. I love me some 2099 stuff. That's why me and Rob get along, and that's the only reason why. He hates me because I can't grow a mustache like him. I'm trying. But yeah, so these are all going to the same person, same one winner, drawing one winner. You have to be in the United States. I'm not shipping these overseas. If you're a channel member, it will get put aside for you and it will get to you. It ain't getting to you this week, but if you're a channel member that's out overseas, I will put together a package for you, make it worth the shipping. But that just comes with perks of being a channel member. So, yeah, at this point, I already paid the shipping. So,
refreshing.
OG 2099 costume over the reboot costume. So let's see. I gotta pull these comments. This hashtag.
Good luck, everybody. Those are some awesome books, man.
Boom. So there's that. We got 18 entries, 24 people watching.
Man, you had 24 votes on your poll. That's a shame.
Perfect. Ashton, we've talked before. Ashton, I'll get you the books if you win, because Ashton is they don't have the capability to become a channel member, and Ashton is the reason why when DJ and I do the Ultimate Fallout 4 giveaway, I'm bringing some more stuff to do a live giveaway as well for people that were unable to actually join that because of Ashton. It made me aware that not everybody who watches our content is actually able to take advantage of the features that YouTube offers other places. So
glad he has an optimistic outlook.
Yeah, you're never going to win with that attitude.
Right?
But I'll make sure.
Well, if you're giving away stuff that day, well, I call and fold and raise and all
those things. Yeah. Well, Nelson hit me with my little shipping invoice the other day, and the package will be in tomorrow. But holy shit! Like the way that the shop app is set up now, like it gave me the entire breakdown of what's coming in the box from Nelson. So Big Time Collectibles, Nelson owns that store, and he sends a bunch of books to give away to the channel members. And I was able to see like his 20 something books, and they're all absolutely amazing. So
Wow.
I'm gonna have the. It would take me forever to give them all back out just month by month. So I'm gonna pass them out and do the whole sponsor pumping thing along the way. All right, let's spin this shit.
So you
We got
pump your
stuff to do.
sponsors?
And the winner of those 3 books is blah 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 blah. Jesus, it's taking forever. Beckerman, the one, the only, the Beckerman. Congratulations, Mike. I will box those up and ship them out Tuesday. Tuesday is the day I'm shipping the Legion loot to Comic Book Poser from last month. Got stuff for Nick, Coco, Becker. I've got a stack of stuff. I haven't been to the post office since before I moved. So going to the new post office Tuesday before I head out of town. I'll get that to you. All right, DJ, kick rocks. We're about to talk comics. I'm just kidding.
Kick Korg? kick Korg in the nuts. No, thank you for having me. I have to go do some other stuff. I got a long day of work ahead of me tomorrow. Thank you for having me, Ryan. You're the best, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know who I am, just check me out. DJ Links on YouTube. I do content as well, and yeah, man, stick around.
Yeah.
Oh, it's getting close. It's getting close.
So then, yeah, it's confirmed there will be other giveaways that night as well. Then, so I'm down to give out some shit.
It's coming. It's coming. I keep those in there. I still like looking at them. But yeah, I appreciate you hopping on and talking about that, man. Smaller time doing it tonight, but I'm sure I'll bash it some more later after I see it.
It's all good, dude. Take care, guys. Have a good night.
Take it easy. Ryan, my guy, new guy.
Yeah.
What is new with you?
A little bit of everything. It's been a busy week. So honestly, I thought I read more books than apparently I actually did. But I'm excited to talk about whatever I did read. So let's jump to it, man.
I'm gonna go in on a couple of them for sure, and probably breeze over a few. I did just finish Batman Killing Time as well as Suicide Squad Blaze, which was the final of those 3. I don't believe you're reading Suicide Squad Blaze, right?
No.
All right. Well, first off, it's hard to even like this is a Black Label title, so they like some of these books they take a lot of time to dive in. Like this is a Suicide Squad book, but none of the actual Suicide Squad members are our actual focal point. This is very Black Label. They take all the liberties that you would want them to with one. They kill off the entire Justice League as side characters. The entire Suicide Squad team eventually dies, all the way down to Amanda Waller, where this random character who's a nobody, he only exists in this book, who was brought in, he's actually your focal point. And it actually becomes something very special and unique by the end of it. I would highly recommend people to check this book out if you want something that's definitely outside of the box, but very familiar with your DC Comics stuff. This was an absolute treat the way that they ended this. But it was super dope.
There's been some stuff like that is hitting DC Universe Infinite that I'm kind of interested in checking out in in that format, because they kind of interest me, but not quite enough to really dig in. They just added, what is it, Swamp Thing, the Hell one or whatever.
Green Hell.
They just added that first book there, the day after y'all were talking about how it seems to have gotten canceled. So I was like, I might go ahead. Yeah, they added it there this past Tuesday. So I was like, I might go ahead and read that, knowing that, there's no more to it at this point or whatever.
So it is just one that they didn't add issue. What did they add? I'm confused.
Just that first issue. Because they're rolling 6 months behind. So the first issue, they added the first issue, and it's on the homepage, whenever you go there. But I know from y'all's conversation last Sunday that
issue too.
Yeah. So I was like, I don't know, I might read it since it's on there, and I have a year's worth of subscription anyway.
Bro, it's
kind of the same thing.
It's going to break your heart. Don't read it.
But kind of the same thing with this Blaze book. I might check that out because it's there, it's going to pop up at some point. So
yeah. Real quick, going down the list, what are some of the books that you did read this week, so I can kind of prioritize these real fast?
Yeah, so things that I know we both read. Batman 125 we can talk about. Killing Time we can talk about. I already told you I got 2 or 3 pages left on that, but it's cool. Just let's talk about it, because I've read enough of it to know how good it is. I still haven't got to Dark Crisis 2. I read Monkey Prince number 6, and There's Something Wrong with Patrick Todd number 1. And I think I read Twig number 3, so maybe I did, maybe I didn't. It might be one I got interrupted with. It's been a week, so I haven't really got a lot of time to just sit down and read.
All right, well, I'm going to burn through a couple of these real quick. Mighty Morphin 21 came out. I did not read it yet, but I tend to save those. I either read them like ahead of time before they come out, or I'm a week behind on them. It's weird. Ghost Rider number 4 came out, and this continues to be an amazing episodic like horror comic. Like, this is Immortal Hulk level fun. Like, it's really dope. And they get into this thing like where his relationship with the writer is really tested in this one, and they're showing kind of like a disconnect with it because there might be something wrong with Johnny that the writer's not cool with. That was a cool little twist that they threw into there, because this whole time he's had this scar in his head that it keeps hinting at like there's something inside of it. This one was a big one for me. Like, I was excited for it to come out, and it did not disappoint. But it's the Black Adam. What is the whole name of this? The Justice Society Files, Hawkman 1, and so they're doing 4 of these, one for each of the JSA members that will be appearing in the upcoming Black Adam film. The B covers are all these amazing photo variant covers. But what's cool is this: it's set before the film, so it gives us a lot of context to what's the universe is going to be like. Things like Intergang is what they're dealing with. Mannheim is running Intergang just like in the comics. We find out that the JSA, as should be, this is not a fresh team. This is them kind of coming back together from when they used to be together. Hawkman was the leader of them when they were together. Superman is confirmed as a problem inside of this universe for people like Mannheim and Intergang. So there's a lot of awesome stuff. And they also give us a full story inside of this where you see the origin and the dealing with of the Gentleman Ghost inside the DCEU canon universe. So if they do anything with that character moving forward, who knows? But at least we get like a movie version of it and how it would look like as well. So I'm really excited for the next one. I think they said in the back Cyclone will be the next one. So that was really fun. Flashpoint Beyond and Dark Crisis. You said you didn't read these.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we'll jump back to that if there's time. Hit me with a couple. Like I didn't read Twig. I've got these 2 that we both read. So hit me with some that I didn't read.
All right. So Twig number 3, I think I read, and it was okay. I do know that I at least read half of it because they basically montage all the world exploration. So, like the thing that I was interested in was like really the adventure and exploring the world and stuff. And like this book pretty much sold me on not sticking around for this series because they were like, oh yeah, here's just like a ton of montage scenes of him wandering through this world. He's like walking through a desert and there's like all these rocks with faces right behind him. And, there's a scene where he's like going through a swamp or something. There's all these like crazy creatures around. It's like, okay, so thanks for just like walking past everything I actually want to know about this book. So pretty much done with that. It was kind of a waste of time.
Does it still have like a young reader feel? Like you could be reading it with your kids kind of thing?
Yeah. It still kind of has like that mixed tonality where it's like I'm not sure how young this skews because there's also jokes that like are more adult oriented and stuff. Honestly, it's kind of the same thing that we were talking about with the MCU with like the Eternals and what he was saying about Thor here is like who are you watching this with? Other than adults, like there's not people that it fits all of these different ages they seem to be trying to hit. So I don't know. I think I'm done with Twig. Like I really wanted to explore this world and see some of this stuff. And this book, they're just like, we are literally going to montage the entire adventure and just like get to him like trying to figure out how to put this stone together. I don't know. Didn't really interest me. Let's see. There's Something Wrong with Patrick Todd. This is an Aftershock book. Ed Brisson. Really cool. It didn't show us anything like super new or unique, but it delivers in a fun way that does have me interested. And there's a nice little cliffhanger at the but like I don't know, I don't want to get into that. But yeah, like it's not delivering it well. Like like Shrek or even like Pixar movies, right? They're delivering adult humor that goes far enough over the kids' heads that you don't have to worry about it getting all confused and mangled in their brains. Whereas Twig is not doing that well enough. And so it's like, oh yeah, I could sit here and read this with my kid, except for this like these 2 pages where it's like, no, that's not suitable, but they would understand that it's not suitable for them. So that's kind of the difference there. I totally get like there's animated films and stuff out there that are for kids that do adult humor well, but they do it in a proper way, and Twig does not. So I don't really know who they're aiming for specifically. So there's something wrong with Patrick Todd. It was cool. Like basically it's like the Purple Man. So like he has like mind control powers. He's basically presenting the idea that his dad exists, but we don't really know where that is. And he's like a teenager, right? Kind of a troubled teenager in a sense. But his mom is like in a mental health facility, and there's something wrong with her. We don't get into the details of what is wrong with her. We just know she's not quite right. And so he's basically using other people to rob banks so that he can pay for her treatment and stuff. And, he's paying for the treatment, but the people like the nurses and stuff have never met his dad. So they're like, what's going on? We need to meet him to get him to sign paperwork to keep her here. He's living out of this hotel, and like, they're like, yo, your dad needs to come by and put his credit card on file. He's like, I'm paying like double the price for cash. Like my dad's just too busy to come by, So he's running into like social issues like that. And then he's in this hotel room. He's like a 15-year-old kid. I think they are pretty close. I don't remember if they specifically mention his age, but it seems like he's about like 15, 16. And so he also has like the naivety of a 15 or 16-year-old. Like people come by as like the maids at the hotel room, and he's dumb enough to open the door knowing that he has like, dump trucks full of cash sitting in the room and stuff. And so they basically try to rob him and things like that. It's cool though. Like I said, it's nothing new, right? It's the Purple Man. Like he can like mind control people, and then they're just like all confused. It's Mr. Robot. Like he's taking people that are like really terrible humans in society and having them do this bad thing, rob the bank, and give them the money, and then they go to the police station and turn themselves in for all the like crimes they're actually doing, like being pervs on the internet and stuff like that. So it's not really doing like anything necessarily new, but it is like putting all that in a blender and coming out with something really cool and interesting. So I'm excited to keep reading it. And at the end, you do get like this guy like is holding a bag full of heads, and he's like basically killed everybody in this house. And he seems to have a beat on where Patrick Todd is. And he says something along the lines of like, they always think that I don't know where they are, or something to that effect. So it seems like we got some guy out there hunting these people with this mind control ability thing. And so that's kind of interesting as well. So it was an interesting book, even though it's not doing anything necessarily new, but it presents it in a cool way. Plus it takes place in Canada. So like, it's kind of like this fun mystery of like, I don't know what Queen Elizabeth II emergency room is, So it's got that going for it. Monkey Prince number 6.
We have a special occasion right now. And I hate that these two didn't cross paths, but it potentially could have saved their friendship that they didn't. Because we have none other than Mr. Remy Q up in the building.
Boom! Yes! Did this actually happen? Is this week's end?
This is.
Oh my gosh! I don't have my phone on me. I call my mom. I need to call my mom. Mom, I made it! Yes!
Well, I'm glad you made it, Mom. Yeah, you just missed DJ. He was concerned that you'd be upset at him that for his opinion on the movie. You saw Thor. I got to know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I did. Oh, and yeah, I mean, hey, I don't mind anybody else's opinion. You know what I mean? It's not everything's going to be for everybody.
Was it for you, though? Was it for you?
I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it.
I know you wanted it. I'm glad that you did.
Now, see, that's the I mean, I'm biased. I mean, but as a moviegoer, like as a movie guy, it's not hard to please me anyways. So, you know what I mean? I don't dig too deep into it. I go there for the experience. I got to see my guy kick some butt along with some others. It was enjoyable. I found it enjoyable. So, yeah, I'll have to go back. I'll have to check out the rewind. I'm so sorry that I missed you guys discussing. I don't mean to bring us back there, by the way, but certainly if I have an invite, I'm going to have to make an appearance.
Yeah, I've been curious to know what you thought.
I did. I enjoyed it. I did. In fact, Angel has a rant and review, and we didn't talk. It was silence on the way back. Okay, like the whole way back, we didn't discuss anything. Like whenever she's going to do a review, she records everything by herself, and then I edit it, and I do like it's almost like an unboxing as I'm editing it. Like, oh, okay, that's an interesting point. But I don't try to like sway her. I don't try to tell her anything that anybody else thinks. I just want how do you like it? What did you
Unfiltered angel.
What's that?
Unfiltered angel.
Yeah. I don't want to sway her. You know what I mean? I don't want to be like, oh, everybody loves this or everybody hates this. Like, what do you think about it? And at the same time, I don't want to sway her either. I don't want to be like, oh, what about this one part? Or, you know, oh, I hated this. So it's like, I haven't gotten to talk about it yet, to be honest with you.
Hmm.
But I did. I enjoyed it. I don't have any beef with it. Why? So DJ didn't like it? Have you seen it yet? Have you seen it?
I'm going to go see it. I leave for vacation on Friday, so
Okay.
there's this little small theater on the island that we hit every year. So I plan on going and taking my 14-year-old to go watch it. I feel like she'll love it, hopefully. And then I'm going to take Finn and Monkey to see Minions sometime that we're down there.
We took the boys with us. It was a risk. I don't like to.
Did you explain to him
too much to? What's that?
Did you explain to him what an orgy is?
No, I don't think they asked, but stuff like that, it just right on past them.
Okay.
You know what I mean? They enjoyed it. One's 5, one's 12.
Ooh, 12 is risky. He knows how to not ask. He knows how just to Google for an answer. He's in his room right now. What is an orgy?
I did ask them. I was like, "Hey, did you like it?" And both of them said, "Yeah." I mean, Logan said he got lost a couple areas. He's like, "I didn't know what they were doing here." I was like, "All right, it's cool. Did you enjoy it?" Yep. All right. Seal of approval.
Money
wasn't a waste. I've had them fall asleep before, and I've had to leave before, so this was a good one.
Nice.
So, and that's it. Like I said, I don't mean to bring us back to it. I know that you've been on for a while, so I apologize I missed it earlier, and I'll let you guys get on. But
you're perfectly fine. I miss your face. We'll appreciate you hopping on, man.
I did. So Remy Q Studios gives it 2 thumbs up. I don't know what these guys have said. I don't know what DJ said. He's still my friend. I still love him. I wish I could have experienced it with him. Even if I would have looked over and saw this just snarling the whole time, pissed off about this or that, I still would have. I feel like I still would have enjoyed it. So,
yeah. Hey, I said me enjoying Thor is different than me realizing it wasn't a great movie. I say that all the time. You can enjoy bad movies and not enjoy good movies. Quality and taste are 2 different things. There's a lot of bad movies I enjoy. I just don't enjoy Disney's Thor. It's not whether it's good or bad. I don't enjoy their take on the character. That's
I got you.
But that has nothing to do with if it's good or not. It seems like a lot of people are they felt that it was a little bit too jokey is the feedback. Some people enjoyed it more than others, but it's pretty universal. They said this one, they kind of went too heavy with the jokes.
Yeah. Well, and I think, I mean, if I were to be asked that, it was jokey, but I think that that's kind of what they've given you too. So, I mean, if this would have been like a real serious movie, it would have been like, what? Like you have to reboot the whole thing if you want to go there. You know what I mean? Like if we're gonna get the Thunder God enraged and going deep into some crazy story,
More to the ring level storytelling.
Yeah, you can't start where you're at now. I mean, that's where they've gone into. The second he linked up with the Guardians, and I mean, look at the last 2 Guardian movies have been. I mean, that's just a punchline after punchline after punchline, and I enjoy those. So
yeah, I do too.
Point, yeah, I don't think anybody should go into it expecting something super deep and exploring that realm. So
yeah,
but yeah,
all right. Time, man.
Again, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
I'm glad you did. I'm glad you did. This created a good balance to the stream.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't get people arguing, so I don't want to argue with anybody. I don't know.
I was kind of looking forward to being a ref tonight.
Like it.
I'm glad that we didn't have to see you and DJ at odds with each other, but I fear for next Friday.
We'll see. I'll watch the rewind and then I'll decide. So, anyway,
give him a
thanks
time.
For having me on, y'all. Again, I don't mean to disrupt what you guys are doing. So I'll definitely be in the chat, and I appreciate it, sir. Thank you.
All right, Remy, love you, bro.
Take it easy.
You too. We need to bring the Thor from Incredible Hulk TV movie to the MCU or from Adventures in Babysitting. Yeah, he was also in American Wedding. He's the guy that Stifler did the dance off with. Mr. Belvedere. Ryan, you're going to have to review one while I fill up this water.
Cool.
You don't have any more in there, do you?
All right. So, Monkey Prince number 6. This one was kind of weird, to be honest. It reminds me of Mark's review of Aquaman last week. Whenever he was talking about like it kind of like ended everything, but it was like weird how it felt kind of choppy and stuff. I felt the same about Monkey Prince number 6. There was kind of like this clear trajectory it was on coming from number 5. And then this one like kind of went off into this side territory, montaged the Monkey King's story and Journey to the West and stuff. No, I want to get into this one. This one was cool. And so like it was still good, but then whenever the book, and I was like, okay, this is fun. Now the next issue is going to be what I was expecting this issue to be. But at the end of it, they're like, see, the Monkey Prince returns in October. And I was like, wait, what? So we're just like randomly going on hiatus. That was kind of strange. This one had a weird tone. This one had a weird tone in the sense like we got Black Manta in the last one, right? So we're like, all right, man, Black Manta is gonna like come in and like be awesome. So he paid Marcus's parents to unlock this jar and turn a hermit crab massive, like kaiju size. And then he has like a tuning fork that controls the hermit crab. And then the police show up. He's like rampaging through the city. He's on the hermit crab. And the police show up and they start shooting. And it's like, blam, 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 blam. And they like hit the tuning fork out of his hand. He's like, you bumbling idiots. You destroyed the only thing I had to control this creature, you know? And so I was like, this was a strange tone. So that was like kind of a weird like side thing. So I had like this weird tone thing going on with it. It was cool to get a kind of a flashback montage of the Monkey King story and Journey to the West, so they don't have to like rehash that. But then we also got like some cool stuff with like Aquaman and Atlantis, their politics versus like these trench people that we've met and their politics. And then they also tie that into the history of the Journey to the West. So now we kind of know a little bit more about the power pole and everything because of that. And we know why Atlantis and Aquaman and the trench people and the Monkey Prince and Pigsy are going to have to all come to head in the next issue. So despite it like kind of being all over the place and having weird tone, you probably missed the first part where I mentioned it reminded me of your review of Aquaman last week. Yeah, where it kind of like took like this weird, just like we're going to mix all these things together in this issue instead of giving you what you were expecting here.
Now, does this series have a finite number to it, or is it just ongoing?
I believe it's ongoing. I kind of thought that this issue was going to kind of cap maybe like the season or whatever, and we were going to like kind of move on to new things after this. But for whatever reason, this issue was kind of like this weird side journey that, then at the end of this book, it says the Monkey Prince will return in October. So like we're going on hiatus through August and September, I guess.
The jumbledness of it, like I heard you say the hiatus thing. So I wonder if it was originally planned hiatus or if this is just the product of knowing they're about to take a break. Because with Aquaman, that's what happened. This is the book.
Yeah.
You're seeing the story being affected by the behind the scenes stuff where they decided to finite run this series and that wasn't planned originally. So that issue was just pacing was just rough in it.
Yeah, that's kind of how this one was. It had like all these weird different tones mixed together. The pacing was kind of all over the place, whereas the first 5 issues were very comic book, like they told a very cohesive story with accurate pacing and stuff. And then this one, it was like, we're just kind of going to like throw some darts at the wall for a minute here.
Did they stick?
Yeah, I thought all the elements were good other than maybe like the weird tone with Black Manta. but all in all, like I like everything they gave to us. It gave like more backstory, more depth, and kind of like tied the Journey to the West story into like DC stuff. Because you kind of get this cut in Aquaman, like in Atlantis. They cut to like this subsection of Atlantis where there's like these fish people or whatever. This guy's like, look, I still have a piece of the shard like lodged in my eyebrow. And you're like, that's kind of weird. And then whenever Marcus makes the power pole grow, like the shard in his eye is like like grows as well. So kind of messes him up. But it's interesting, and it ties everything together and makes it make sense because the Monkey King fought with the Trench people in the past. So now Marcus has to deal with that as the Monkey Prince. Yeah, I mean, modern comics have gotten really weird about ongoing. You're muted. They've gotten weird about like ongoing status and all that. So who knows?
It sounds like a really weird book, and it's been weird since issue 1. It really set the tone of it when he got his head cut off at the end of that first issue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there is like a sense of jokiness and lightheartedness to a lot of things, but I don't know. This issue did have like some like really weird moments, like with Black Manta. In this one they kind of like really solidified what his parents do. So like Marcus's parents are scientists, and they're like freelance scientists, and so like whoever pays them money they'll go do a job for. So like Black Manta had found like this jar that's like an ancient Chinese relic, so he specifically hired Chinese descendant freelance scientists to crack the code and open it up and release whatever the evil is inside or whatever. So that's what they moved to Amnesty Bay. Is that what it's called?
Aquaman's home.
Yeah, like they moved there in the last issue. They picked it because they had a new job, and so they went there and they met Black Manta, and he basically was like, yeah, I need you to open this up. And then in this issue, they opened it up and turned this hermit crab into a big giant like demon thing.
Are they dealing with Arthur or Jackson for Aquaman?
It was all Arthur.
They should have used Jackson.
Yeah. Yeah, because that would have been a nice connection, kind of like how he connected with Robin so well with Damien. Uber Lyft, but for scientists. Yeah. And I guess one of the cooler things, like, or not really cooler things, but one of the stronger elements of it, like, Marcus doesn't really know what his parents do. He just knows they're like scientists or whatever. But in this issue, he actually sees them. They're in suits, so he can't see like their faces and stuff. They're in like Black Manta henchman suits or whatever. But he sees them get into like an escape boat or whatever. And he's like, yeah, based on their body movement, that's definitely my parents. So like now he's kind of coming to head with like the reality that maybe his parents are bad guys, because Batman and Robin had told him like, yeah, your parents are, they're henchmen for the Penguin. He's like, no, they're not. Like, why would they be henchmen for the Penguin? You're crazy. And so him and Batman were at odds because Batman's a villain in his life, and so now he's actually seeing the other side of that. He's like, oh, like maybe they are henchmen for bad guys. What's going on? For genetic research is one of the things I do on Fiverr. I hope you charge more than $5.
So they've henched for Penguin and Black Manta now, just as freelance scientists, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, basically they come do a task and then they're out of there or whatever.
What are their names again?
Well, Marcus is the Monkey Prince. His parents' names are Shinzihu or something like that. Shinzao.
I was wondering if they were trying to link this into anything else in comics, or if this is all just kind of happening inside of here.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of self-contained, but also like there's nothing saying it's not. Because it's not like Black Label or something, so it seems like it's within continuity in some sense. But Infinite Crisis says everything is happening and nothing is happening. So I don't know what it means at the larger. But yeah, even Black Manta makes fun of that, of like the Chinese naming convention, because he's like, wait, I hired 2 scientists so why is there only one name? And they're like, well, we're married, so we have the same name. He's like, wait, so you both have the same name? They're like, yeah. And then like in this issue, whenever they open the scene with Black Manta and stuff, he's like, okay, so you're the scientist with the same name, right? So they kind of like get into that and stuff. It's pretty good.
463. Boom. Got that win packed up, or I would have never done it.
Yeah, Batman and Rob. Actually, the first scene of the first issue opens with Batman, don't it? In the apartment.
Yeah, because remember he cuts his head off.
Well, yeah, that's at the end of that first issue. But yeah, Batman and Robin are kind of the first like DC heroes that they connect with, and him and Robin kind of kick it.
So are you still going to be picking it up after the hiatus? Has it been good enough to keep you wanting more?
Yeah, I mean, it comes in like 3, maybe 4 out of 5 stars with each issue. It's kind of up and down, but all in all, it's good enough to keep reading. I'm enjoying it.
Nice. Well, one that I have definitely enjoyed this week, and it was probably it was probably my read of the week, and that's more of like a personal thing for just like my personal excitement level for it than anything. It definitely wasn't I don't know. There's some decent stuff this week, but Flashpoint Beyond number 3 of 6 just hit me in the fandom really hard. So there we have Thomas Wayne is on the Flashpoint Earth where he woke up there, doesn't know why, and he's trying to figure out why. And there's this clockwork killer killing people and stuff that has not really been the primary focus of what's going on, but it's kind of just lingering in the background. We get a little tease with Reverse Flash popping into the Wayne Manor behind Cobblepot, who's like the Alfred in this universe, warning that someone's after him, he's going to die, blah, blah, blah. And later in the book, we see that he actually gets caught up to, we find Reverse Flash dead with his chest cut open with it says painted in blood, tick, tick next to him like a clock. We had Subject 1, which is the Superman of this earth, come to get help from Batman and takes him to the Fortress of Solitude, which was interestingly made out of Jason Woodrue, aka Swamp Thing, where Poison Ivy was there, and we get this history of the Superman in this universe, which was pretty dope. Like, he wasn't the only Kryptonian to get sent off of Krypton. There was a bunch of them, and his purpose isn't to be the last son of Krypton, but to get to Earth and take it over, become its ruler, so that when the rest of Krypton get there, they get a red mat welcoming. And Batman doesn't want to take any part in helping stop this invasion that's only 5 days away. He tells them to kick rocks and figure it out on his own. And then this is where the book gets awesome, because at the end of each issue, we get a couple of pages with the Time Masters, like Rip Hunter's crew. And the crew that we follow are kind of hiding in hyper time from this crisis event happening in the Omniverse. And they start talking about how there's a couple of paradoxes correcting themselves. And they asked if it was Thomas Wayne that corrected. Like, no, not yet. It looks like it was Thawne. So Reverse Flash dying helped to correct something that we don't know yet. And they also mention how Rip Hunter's missing and they don't know where he is, but they got to find him or whatever. And you get this big page splash of all these characters over the course of all these events. And right there at the bottom, front and center, is none other than Dr. Manhattan, who I think I've been guessing that I think he's going to be majorly key in this whole Dark Crisis event. I think they're going to really bring out all the stops for this. I think that Flashpoint Beyond is like a sleeper, mega important book that's going to have like some awesome implications. Because this is at issue number 3 of 6, while Dark Crisis is at 2 of 7. I'm thinking like by the time we get to issue 4 or 5, we're going to be getting the Time Masters coming over to Dark Crisis proper. But it was just awesome. Like, I'm excited about the idea of Jeff Johns being on that Flashpoint book, kind of helping helm this big event, that Joshua Williams is doing. So, yeah, it was just really fun. It was really fun, and it got me all hyped up and all pumped. It wasn't like the actual issue, the content inside was like, oh, this is the best book of the week, but that hype delivery was real for me. It was really, really cool. Chaos said, I should go read Batman Killing Time real quick. So yeah, that was probably, in my opinion, probably the best written book of the week. That was really good. We got the little turn in this book. So we've been following this heavy narration in Batman Killing Time, where they're time stamping all these events which really helps pace the story out in a unique way. But this issue, the way that they structure it and pace it out was extra unique, and it was extra heavy. And I was wondering why they're hitting it. Like they would give you the same narration bubble at the start of each page. That it starts off with a huge battle in the park between all these different henchmen and the government agency that's been after this item that the Riddler and Catwoman have. And at the start of every page, you would get the same little, at this time in this park, these events occurred. And then you get 4, 5 different little panels with somebody's death and how they're dying, and it's gruesome. And they do this for page after page. And after a couple pages, it starts weighing on you how absolutely violent this is. And the whole setting starts to like really set in your head. Like just one page of it, like you get the idea, but it doesn't paint the picture. And after about 3 or 4 pages, you really get this picture painted. And then we get the events of the book catching up to that battle in the park. And it's really cool because by the end of it, they have the box that has the God's Eye in it. And Riddler drops it. And it's rolling, and the narrators talk, like the narration bubbles are staying with it. It's like the box falls and a stone eye falls out. It rolls across the ground as all this is happening, and it happens at this time. And just as planned, I am holding the eye of God. And you look up, and the Clock King is standing there for the first time. So it looks like we have another player on the field who's been actually orchestrating it all as the narrator, been aware of everything, orchestrating it for this specific moment in the middle of all this mayhem going around, to be standing there in the middle of it, clean, collected, with the eye rolling to his feet right where he wanted it the whole time. Mike, dude, that was slick. That was real
Nice.
slick. Like that was super slick. Like that was well done.
Yeah.
Well done. Thank you, Tom. So yeah, then
Nice.
the artwork in this, Marquez's artwork. I remember when the first issue came out, I actually had to take a picture of that first panel of Batman jumping down. Like the artwork in this is amazing. Like Clayman is one of those guys that works with Tom King that does this clean, precise, consistent artwork, and this Marquez is another one. So that's been really, really good.
The only thing I don't like about this series, yeah,
Is that
what's
what-
her face? That crappy agent. I cannot stand when she is there because every other word she says is a curse word, and they just like do that stupid symbol thing. Like one thing I've always kind of been annoyed with that, but I really came to appreciate the way that the 90s Milestone Comics does it, and it's probably because it was like hand lettered and stuff, but like they do like a little scribble and then they'll put like the last 3 like ing or whatever, but it's literally just a scribble mark or whatever. I'm like, that is so much better than these stupid symbols. Like I cannot stand the way they do that. And then to write a character in a book that is going to get censored like that and have her like constantly using those words, like it's so stupid. If he would have fixed her dialogue, I would have liked it a lot better.
In his defense, I don't know if he wrote this planning on it not getting black labeled.
True, could be.
Because if you take out her cussing aside, it's still like pretty violent, and I don't know if black label, like if allowing swear words is the staple of black label. I mean, this isn't set in continuity. This is early days of Batman. Like they established that in issue 1 that this is early Batman right here.
Yeah.
And so there's no reason this shouldn't have a black label banner. And just
maybe he wrote it as a black label book when continuity was more concrete, and then after Infinite Crisis, they were like, "Oh yeah, we could just fold this in since everything is and isn't happening." I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that's my only complaint. I cannot stand that agent because of the way they handled the dialogue. If it was just like spelled out for you, that'd be better.
Yeah, you better read it to me, but no one talks like that. Nobody.
Yeah. Yeah, like it just sounds really clunky and weird. The one thing I liked in this issue is the Riddler, whatever he's like. They should have called you whatever queen or whatever agent or whatever, I was like, oh, that was a pretty good line. Yeah. Like they should have called you the bleeping agent because all you ever do is bleep.
I like the little dialogue between him and Catwoman. Like you can see, like they're at their wits' end because she's like, this isn't going to work. They're not going to pay. Oh, they're going to pay. They tried to play the game and they lost. It was too expensive. They're not good enough at it. They realize they're not good enough at it. They're not going to try to play the game again. They're just going to pay. She's like, when we're back in Arkham tomorrow and you ask for my Jello, I'm going to tell you no. and I'm going to eat it in front of you. No, don't just quit worrying. You worry too much. You're going to worry. You worry all the time. I'm going to lick the spoon too. Like she's just not having it anymore.
Yeah, I really like that he's playing Catwoman as the muscle in this as well. Like, it's really cool that she's like the muscle enforcer character in this like whole heist thing that's going on, you know. So I was like, it's a good book, and I really like it. I just wish, you know, the dialogue wasn't quite as odd as it is in some places.
Now, we didn't get much of the help in this issue as I would like to see. We did get him we got it just because this was primarily like just for one, it was like we get a little time traveling with a couple of flashbacks of seeing the eye, how many influential people have had it, kind of laying some importance on it in the way that people view it differently over time. Like Alexander the Great had it when he died, and who was the great Spartan leader? Was
the one on the beach?
Yeah, the Spartan on the beach in the first flashback. Then Alexander, yeah, knees.
Like,
wow, knees. Yeah, bow, and then you can speak. It was pretty tough, but it was pretty cool.
I also like the dialogue exchange that we did get with Batman and the Help whenever he's on the motorcycle driving, and he's like asking him all these questions and stuff. And he like starts it with yeah. Well, he starts with like, "Can I ask you?" And then he just like goes on with all of his questions, and then the last bit of dialogue is, "No, you can't."
No, you can't.
I was like, that's a great way to exit that scene.
But then the last little clip that we get from the Help is when Catwoman leaps into action and stuff and just gets chopped down, just whack, stopped by him, and so we basically have those 74, 83, and 79 henchmen show up in 3 different buses. 100 FBI agents or government official agents, the Help, Batman, and now the Clock King, all in the park slaughtering each other, and that's where it leaves us, right there. So the final issue is coming. I'm pumped for it. That was a cool little turn to throw the Clock King in there at the end. I thought that was pretty dope. Another character that you don't get to see too often, use too often. That's kind of Tom King's thing, man. He doesn't ignore these characters that are on the sideline. You know, he brought back Kite Man. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I mean, how about I talk about, because I don't think you're not reading Batman Beyond, right?
No, sir.
The Neo year one. Yeah, so this issue was very poorly put together, but it had a lot of heart.
This is
This was number 4. So check this out, right? We need more 66 villains.
Get King Tut, Egghead, False.
So in this issue, Terry is like, his narration is basically about what's his name? Sylvester Stallone, Rocky, right? Mm-hmm. So he comes to the conclusion that Batman is always delivered to death, but he's still standing, right? So what he's referencing is like, whenever somebody delivers a death blow, what Batman is a symbol, and that symbol still stands. Like, it's always standing, right? And so even though Bruce Wayne is dead at this point, Batman is still standing. And so that's kind of become his mantra, is like, he doesn't have to beat the Sword of Gotham. He just needs to still be standing. And so as he goes through these fights, right, he's kind of getting pummeled, but he's also like leaning into this whole plan. And so every time that it seems like he's lost the fight, he's still standing. And it gives, like, it really drives home the heart of Batman, that like, you don't give up, that there's always more you can do, that you can always win the fight as long as you lean into your weaknesses and stand on your strengths, you know? So there's a lot of heart to it in that sense. And you get to see Terry go from like feeling beat down to understanding that it's not always about winning the fight. It's always about what's doing right and standing up for the people around you. So great heart, right? Now here's how they put the story together. It opens with this old man running away. He's scared. He falls to the ground. There's like all this electricity and stuff that hits him. And you get like this narration through that we've seen this specific lettering style for in issue 2. And it was like this like head of 3 things, this kind of like a unity hive mind kind of villain sort of thing and stuff. And so, like, you see all this lightning hit this guy, and then we cut to where we left off at the end of issue 3, where Terry is basically in a kill cage fighting the Sword of Gotham. And that's where he starts narrating about, Batman is still standing. It's all about still standing. And so he lets the Sword of Gotham get the upper hand. Sword of Gotham cuts a hole in the wall. He jumps out of the hole. And remember, like, the battery in the suit's dying. So, like, he's losing his extra abilities he gets from the suit. So Terry's trying to get crafty here. So he gets away, but then the Sword of Gotham pursues him. And then the Sword of Gotham, like, knocks him to the ground and, like, smashes him, and he thinks he's killed him, but he's still standing. And so he pulls out his last batarang and he throws it at the Sword of Gotham. And the Sword of Gotham reaches out and catches it because he's too smart for that, but Batman's still standing. So it explodes and it knocks out the Sword of Gotham. He falls to the ground, and lo and behold, he is the old man from that first cutscene. It's super obvious, right? So then Terry's like, oh yeah, like Lumos is smarter than this, who is another villain that's been introduced here. He's like, Lumos is smarter than this, but he must have made the Sword of Gotham and stuff. And it's like, no, we as the audience already know it wasn't Lumos because we recognize the lettering style that they used whenever this guy was turned into the Sword of Gotham. So Terry's now, like, the suit's all, like, crumpled up on him and stuff. Like, it looks crappy because it doesn't form fit, and it's got no power. He's complaining about how the shoulder hydraulics are not working and stuff. So he takes this old man to the hospital, right? Because he wants to help this old man. He doesn't understand how he became the Sword of Gotham or how it could have been him that he was fighting the whole time, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no crap, it's obvious. He was given powers to be the Sword of Gotham by this character. We as the audience are outsmarting this, right? Oh, because he's also like, there's no detective work going on, right? Which is kind of disappointing. He's like, let me set up a crime scene and, like, figure out who this guy is. And so he, like, takes this little disc out of his pocket, turns on a light, lays it down next to the guy, and then the overlay of the suit tells him the guy's name and, like, all the different jobs he's had and how long he worked at those jobs. And he's like, oh yeah, so this is so-and-so, and, like, he shouldn't have had any of the skills to be able to fight me. And it's like, okay, so, like, that took all the detective work out of being a Batman anyway. That was garbage. So he takes the guy to the hospital, to the emergency room, and drops him off there. And then he goes to the girl he met in issue 3. He goes to her apartment. And she's, like, all weary of him. She's a police officer, but she's, like, one of the only non-corrupt police officers on the force. So he goes in and he, like, kind of tries to explain, like, what's going on. And he's wearing the, like, bat suit, but it's all, like, crumpled because it has no power and stuff at this point. And she pulls a taser on him because she don't trust him because she's not corrupt and she's, worried about where the mayor's at and she thinks Batman might have something to do with it. So she pulls a taser on him. Then all of a sudden she gets hit with electricity, becomes the new Sword of Gotham. So then he, like, gets the taser and, like, ties it to his arm, and he's eventually able to taser and basically, like, knock the Sword of Gotham ability away from her and runs off with her. And he's like, yeah, Lumos keeps making these Swords of Gotham. And that's your whole story. Like, there's nothing, like, I was like, this is the most poor put together comic book ever. It has good heart. Like, the whole, like, still standing thing, it works. But all of the story around the heart of this was like, I hope it goes somewhere better in issue 5. Because the first 3 issues were pretty good. And this one was just like, what happened?
That's weird.
Yeah.
The art the same as it started. The interior art, it didn't really blow me away, but it's not bad.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, there's nothing really mind blowing about it, but it's also, like, better than a lot of stuff out there. So potentially yes, but
well,
I wanted to highlight like how poor the story was done.
This one's going to be a lot shorter. Dark Crisis number 2 dropped, and this is hot on the heels of issue 1 with Deathstroke and his army attacking Titan's Tower. You get an awesome fight between Deathstroke and Nightwing, but the fight kind of bummed me out. They've amped up Deathstroke. He's been put into a Lazarus pit. He's fueled by the Great Darkness. He's supposed to be more savage and tougher than ever. And Nightwing in a one-on-one fight, a wounded Nightwing takes on an amped up Deathstroke and wins. Not a thing. Not happening. But to that point, the Great Darkness is kind of pulling him back. He doesn't want Nightwing killed. But Deathstroke can't help himself. Deathstroke tells Nightwing, we've got all your Titans, so you get to pick which one dies. And Nightwing he gives up the fight. He's like, I'm not doing that. He puts his arms out. He's like, you can kill me now. We all know you're here for me. And Deathstroke says, have it your way. Pulls the gun up, fires it. Then you get the best moment in comics this week. Fires the gun, turn the page, and you just see a Superman S there in a blur off to one side of it where John showed up and just jumped in front of him, looks at Deathstroke and says, you missed. And John looks at him and says, Dick Grayson looks at John and says, you have your father's timing. He goes, and they just get to it. They just start waxing him, taking out Deathstroke's guys. But Deathstroke is the master tactician. As this is happening, you see a shot from outside, and you see kind of just a cape flowing in the wind in the Titan's Tower in the distance, and it's a red cape. You're like, who's this? Hank Henshaw, Cyborg Superman, busts in, and him and Jonathan they take it outside, and they're going back and forth. Deathstroke gets called back by Pariah. He's like, pull back, guys. This is all going according to plan. And but Hank Henshaw and Jonathan are going savage. I mean, bashing each other's face in, eye lasers to John's face. Eventually, they just come crashing back into Titan's Tower, slam on the ground, both kind of rough for the wear. Cyborg walks up, doesn't waste a second, just walks up and just crushes Cyborg Superman's head, just explodes it under his shoe. Says, you give cyborgs a bad name. And they're all getting their bearings back together. The tower's destroyed again right after rebuilding it, and Black Adam shows up. He's like, John, you clearly are not qualified to lead this team. These guys attacked Kandak because there was an attack all over the place, apparently. We just focused on the Titan's Tower one. Deathstroke mentioned how it's a coordinated attack on heroes all over the planet happening right now. Well, they messed up, apparently, and tried it on Black Adam because we now know that happened, but in the time of it happening, he's already over here now. So he clearly handled whoever was attacking his people, probably murdered them all, and he went to go find the other heroes that should be doing something about this because he doesn't feel he should be the only one doing it. So it looks like he's stepping up, and we're going to get a more seasoned, a more ruthless, a more willing leader to that team, for now at least. And then we kind of cut over to Hal Jordan and Joe Mullins. They take the space to go meet up with Kyle Rayner. Hal Jordan came back recently to find out that the Justice League's dead. And instead of linking up with the heroes of Earth, he goes to his core, which I think is perfect. So he goes and links up with the core. He's getting the band back together. And it promises in the next issue we're getting Black Adam training the Justice League as well as Onslaught of the Green Lantern. So it should be pretty dope. This Dark Crisis event is playing out very well. Joshua Williamson's really showing that he can handle a book of this caliber and size. It's definitely well put together. Yeah, Homelander and Deathstroke should team up. That'd be end-all be-all right there. That would do it. So I got one more book left. How many you got left?
Batman 125 is the only thing on my list.
So I did pick up this cover. I don't know why. It was red. Got red on it. But this is the variant with failsafe on it. But man, that's just a cool cover with Robin right there at the center. It was cool getting Tim Drake Robin like proper.
Yeah.
With Batman. So this is essentially an issue 1. It's issue 125, but it's the
plus some commentary.
Issue. Yes. Plus the first issue with Chip Zdarsky taking over the primary title, the Batman title here. We have a new trade dress that's going to be moving forward with the main title here. Jorge Jimenez is back on as the interior artist. That's who was working with Tynan. Then Williamson took over as a fill-in for a little while with, I think it was Jorge Molina. The last name is definitely Molina. Beautiful interiors painted. I would have loved to keep him around. But I did notice the interiors with Jorge back. I liked them a lot better. I don't know if they changed up the colorist or if it's just a different style with the writing so they're not with that whole neon garbage that was going on during Tynan's run. But it was really intense interiors. Like it had that whole brooding vibe to it. Batman was stalking his prey. Like it was really cool. What do you think of this?
Oh man, I really enjoyed this one. I didn't read any of Williamson's run. It doesn't seem like there's anything really carrying over from there. I don't know, but I kind of tapped out on that. So for me, it was a return to Batman. I was waiting for Zdarsky to take over, and I don't think that he missed a beat. It delivered in every way I was hoping, and gave me a lot of surprises and shocks and everything else. I was a little slightly disappointed in the backup story, but we can talk about that as well.
The backup story at the Iceberg Lounge with Catwoman.
Yeah, Catwoman.
So there wasn't much to the main book. We're kind of just like scene setting, but they were teasing in the Batcave this beeping noise. And apparently it's been going on for a long time, because it even has a flashback in the beginning when Alfred was still alive sometime in the past, and there's that beeping noise. But by the end of the book, something in the Batcave gets activated, and this it looks like a robot, just straightforward, like a robot in the Batcave comes lifting up out of the ground, and that's who this failsafe character is that we're going to get introduced to proper in the next issue. We get shown failsafe, we're given the name, but that's pretty much all there is to it.
Yeah. I don't know what to expect with that.
Yeah, we didn't even get into that. Penguin dies in this issue.
Well, it's really cool because you kind of get brooding Batman at the beginning, and then you get all the police setting up and everything, and then you get like a great splash of Batman coming in and everything. Like, I thought it was a great way to like kind of reintroduce and restage Batman and define like who this Batman is versus who he had been. Like I said, kind of refreshing with Zdarsky without doing a whole #1 thing or something.
Yeah, so in this issue, for this like little single issue story, we have Penguin's putting out threats to the Silver Spoon people of Gotham, killing people for being born into privilege, and even though he is one of those people as well. And Batman goes to visit him to see why he's doing what he's doing, and apparently Penguin's on his deathbed in the hospital, and he pretty much sets it up to go out and make it look like Batman had a hand in his death.
Yeah,
failsafe turns on,
and Bruce goes to the party. Seeing Bruce Wayne, like, we didn't really get a ton of like Bruce Wayne stuff. Like, as far as like a socialite, I feel like I'm kind of disappointed Chris isn't here, because he likes to refer to Zdarsky talking about how Batman just like walks around beating up the 1%, or is a 1%er walking around beating up regular people. But this issue, I felt like there was some pseudo commentary there, because he reiterated the idea that Bruce has lost all of his money and everything, that he's not really like one of the social elite anymore, even though he does have substantial wealth still. And he goes
bring in when you lose your millions kind of thing.
Yeah, and he's talking about that. He goes to the party. We didn't really get to see like Playboy Bruce Wayne and how crafty and resourceful he is, even without money, to like get into these parties and get his gear in. We see Robin drop off the gear. He goes in. He refers to. He's like, yeah, this is a weird Penguin. Like, he's not usually this forthcoming. And then he's like, oh, wait, because it's not Penguin. It's Clayface. Mm-hmm. And then he has, classic Batman. He's able to...
Yeah, mind trick Clayface there.
Yeah. He's like, I planted a bomb in your stuff, so, like, you're going to explode if you don't do what I say. So he's still able to save the day, but in the meantime, we get, that crazy scene with Dick Grayson. Or, I'm sorry, with Tim Drake.
So Tim Drake gets... a rogue bullet straight through the back of the neck. He's laying there bleeding to death, and he gets taken to the hospital. And we're led to think that he died, because they take us to a dialogue. They do a little page turn, and you get the nurse saying he's not going to make it. And then you look down, and they're looking at Penguin, not at Dick Grayson. We find out Dick's going to not Dick. I'm sorry. Find out that Tim's going to make it. He's going to be fine. He lost some blood, but
they nicked an artery, and he's
dude, that was an intense scene when he took that bullet. Like, bro, they're gonna kill Tim right now. Like, I felt like they did. I felt like they had killed him like instantly. I didn't have that feeling of, oh, he's safe, it's Tim. Like, I legit like, dude, they just killed Tim right up.
Yeah, I felt the same way. And I mean, it was kind of foreshadowed, because Bruce specifically says, like, it's nice to have Tim around again. He seems to have been MIA for a while. And he's like, I'm glad that he's finally like figured out happiness for himself and what that means. And I am genuinely happy for him, because Tim comes in a little concerned about Bruce and his state of mind at this point, and so Bruce is kind of commenting on that fact that like he thinks Tim is like doing great in life and he's like found his own happiness. And so obviously we're also kind of getting that commentary on everybody's upheaval about his sexuality, I guess. So, you know, again, like Zdarsky's layering in this commentary very well, but Bruce talking about how, you know, he's happy to see Tim finally find his own happiness, just like turn it around and like he takes a bullet through the neck and I was like, holy crap, like this is where we're at. I was like, I'm sure he's dead. He's dead, right? And then we get like all the great stuff with him talking about like what he went through whenever Joker beat Jason Todd to death and everything, and how he went through removing the suit and now he has to remove the suit again and everything. And like, it, you know, just like masterful layering by Zdarsky once again. Like he really took us through some like highs and lows with this story. And then of course, you know, you get the nurses walking out of the room and they're like, hey, you know, he's not going to make it through the night. And then you see Batman like step out of the shadows and look down and it's Penguin. And so then you're like, wait, what's going on with Penguin here?
Yeah.
And that's where he like sets up, you know, basically sets Batman up because Penguin takes a cyanide pill. He starts to bubble out of the mouth after he pushes the call nurse button. So the nurses come to the door, open it up. They see Penguin foaming at the mouth and dying. Batman jumping out the window, and then sure enough, there's police and everybody outside to see him leaving the crime scene of the death of the Penguin. So now you kind of have Batman framed for murder of the Penguin at this point.
Then failsafe turns on.
And then failsafe turns on.
And then there's a power vacuum at the Iceberg Lounge. All these different, in the backup story, we go straight to the Iceberg Lounge, and all these different factions of crime inside of Gotham are going in there, and they're wanting to take it over because it's kind of like the hub network place where all these people can come and set up and blah, blah, blah. And they start going back and forth between each other. And then we get a character we haven't seen in a little while now. We get the Underbroker walking in, trying to set everybody straight and say that there is an actual will and that they're going to get the executor to get all the will handled and this and that. And they'll go from there to see who actually owns the Iceberg Lounge. And after that little speech, we get a shot of Selena Kyle just hanging out at home. And the Underbroker's muscle comes and shows up at her house, who is a robot himself. A lot of robots going on here. And says, I would love to do
more commentary.
Yeah, I would love to do my job and get the people that need to know about this will in the know, but my resources are more limited, and this is my only function is to do my job properly, and I can't do it without your help. There's 10 people on the list, and they're all of Oswald's children. If you could just find them, tell them that's all I need. I'll pay you $25,000 or something. So
yeah,
Penguin's got a bunch of kids.
Yeah, this was like super weak to me. I love Selena Kyle. She's one of the most underrated characters in fiction. And Catwoman is always stunning. This artwork did not work for me. I was like, it's not even cartoony. It's like crappy cartoony. I did not care for the way she was drawn. I did not care for the way it fit this story. And then like on top of that, like, why is it a Catwoman story? That part didn't even make any sense to me. Like, why is Catwoman the star of this story? It's about Penguin and his 10 kids. So, like, wouldn't it be better to explore, like, having each backup story feature a different villain from the Rogues Gallery and their connection to the underworld and their connection to Penguin through finding one of his kids and like what it all means to that character, and like having them go on a personal journey and explore their connection to the Penguin rather than just having Catwoman go find these 10 kids. Like, I don't know. It kind of seems weak. I mean, who knows? Zdarsky can probably knock it out of the park and like reveal a bunch of layers to it, but it just seems like a missed opportunity to take the Penguin out of the game, but then also highlight why each of 10 of Batman's rogues would be interested in whatever's going on because of their connection from the past with the Penguin, by exploring that through them finding his kid in each story, you know? Like, I don't know. I thought the backup story was pretty weak in a lot of ways, and it didn't really hook me in. And I was excited going into the book knowing that the backup story was Catwoman because I love the character and I was excited to see her be involved somehow.
I was glad to see the Underbroker back though.
Yeah. He's wasn't that one of Tynan's contributions, like from his early bit of his run?
Yeah.
I didn't read that, so I don't
So
know.
like they killed off like the Penguin. Like I don't know why that doesn't seem like a big deal. Like if he's dead proper, you know what I mean? Like in terms of comics, that should be kind of a big deal, the death of the Penguin. It doesn't feel like a big deal though.
No.
Yeah. But needless to say, I'm excited for what Chip Zdarsky has planned. This was definitely a good first issue, setting the tone and all that good stuff. Being that you're far removed from Tynan's run.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't read that first one that Joshua Williamson did. But man, that was such a strong return to Batman. It was like a middle finger to that horrible Tynan era. We had like blimps like from the cartoon and like we had people celebrating in the streets in the book. I'm like, dude, this is amazing.
Yeah.
It's so good. But yeah, I think Zdarsky did a bang up job. So,
yeah. I thought he like really set the tone and set up a story that's going to be worth exploring. So I'm interested to see where this all goes from here.
Makes sense to have what you said, different villains search for a different baby Pingu. It's Catwoman having to find the kids. That would definitely make it her story. Yeah.
Yeah. I just don't really know what the story is there.
Top detectives. Bruce even has pointed out that Tim will be better than he is one day. He's said that for a while. He is Bruce has acknowledged that Tim is the best of the Robins.
Yeah.
We can have our own opinions, but the fact of the matter is that Tim is the best of all the Robins. And at this point, it's crazy to think how characters just fall off over the years or get lost in the crowd of characters and everything. We grew up with Tim, Wally, Tim, who are the Kyle Rayner, you know what I mean? Like all these awesome characters that have just gotten shadowed by their the people that they came after returned and stuff, and it's just wild.
Yeah, the only thing is, like, we didn't get any kind of closure on Tim's situation, right? So we don't know, like, if he's off the board for a little while, if he recovers, or was like the whole thing a ruse in the first place. So like, it's hard to tell. Like, is Robin going to continue to be involved in this, or was it just kind of like setting up something for a little bit further down the road?
Yeah. Dick is one of the very few characters that have actually aged in comics. Hey, don't forget John Kent.
To a lot of people's dismay, apparently.
Hey, but be sure to read next week's issue. Do I have it in here? It might have it in here. How do I not have it in here? It's not in here. Be sure to read next week's The World Without a Justice League Superman one-shot. Yeah, I must have deleted it. But
is that the one that has Tom King in it?
Yes. It's fantastic.
Nice.
It's going to be exploring this.
What happened, right?
All of these dead Justice Leaguers are in different places. They're in these little pocket paradises. But in Clark's paradise, what if he never lost his son? What if he never missed out on him growing up? That's his paradise. Watching his little boy become a man, because he said goodbye to his little boy and a man came home. So what if he actually got to raise his son? Bring your tissues. I got to tell Paul to pull that cover and the homage covers aside for me. So there's only 2 covers for that World Without Superman. And there's the A cover and the 1 in 25 cover. And the 1 in 25 cover is already called for it at ABX. And I didn't get it. I stick to the A covers and I try to do good about that. But yeah, I like the A cover a lot with that classic look with him and John there. And John's in like a Robin looking outfit, but with the Superman S instead of an R. It's awesome.
Nice.
But that's going to wrap it up for tonight. It's after 11. We're just over the 2-hour mark. I appreciate everybody coming, hanging out, participating in the giveaway, talking Thor. I'm sure while I'm on vacation, I'll do something. I'll do a little live. Hopefully I can get my 14-year-old to hop on and rant or something while we're on vacation. That would be cool. She did some stuff for me. But I know what you're talking about. Yeah, the Breakfast Club and Lost Boys. That was for DC versus Vampire homages. Those were dope. Those were super dope. Yeah, absolutely. Hit them up. Get them to throw those aside for you for sure. But I appreciate everyone hanging out. Be sure to check out Ryan at the Cosmic Campfire, cosmic-campfire.com. Monday content days. Hop on that newsletter. Awesome stuff going on. And from that website, you can also find the link to go check out his sales page where he's got some cool stuff up there. He's moving to help fund his creative career. So until next time, guys, as always, I'm Mark, but we are Legion.
I just turned it on.
No pictures.
Oh, no pictures? Oh, okay, sorry.